The world is not calming down. On the contrary, it is hardening on multiple fronts at the same time. Today, a new line of confrontation is being discussed: the United States and Venezuela. A war has not yet broken out. However, the language being used, the military movements taking place, and the messages being sent clearly show one thing: the world is no longer hiding its conflicts. This is not just a crisis between two countries. It may be a sign of a new era in which global balances are being pushed to their limits. So why is this tension emerging now? And how prepared is the world for what comes next? The world is undeniably moving toward a new phase, but this transformation cannot be reduced to a few red marks on a map. Recent developments in Latin America clearly reveal how rapidly global dynamics are shifting. This time, attention has turned sharply toward the growing tension between the United States and Venezuela. There is still no officially declared war. Yet the rhetoric, the actions taken, and the signals being sent show that this situation has already moved far beyond what could be described as a normal diplomatic crisis. In the early days of 2026, U.S. forces carried out military operations in Caracas, and the capture of President Nicolas Maduro sent shockwaves across the world. The event raised serious questions about international law and national sovereignty. The U.S. administration has described the operation as law enforcement and the implementation of sanctions. Maduro has been accused of involvement in drug trafficking and international crimes. But when viewed from a broader perspective, it becomes clear that this is not merely a legal matter. Venezuela's vast oil reserves and energy resources suggest that a far more strategic calculation lies behind this confrontation. What is happening, therefore, is not simply a harsh power struggle between two nations. This tension has become a turning point that directly affects global energy markets, geopolitical balances, and regional alliances. Venezuela is one of the most critical countries in the world in terms of oil resources. When the actions taken by the United States are viewed through this lens, the reason behind such a hardline stance becomes easier to understand. The escalation has not stopped there. In recent weeks, actions by the U.S. Navy targeting oil tankers trading with Venezuela have drawn attention. Officially described as inspections, these operations are perceived by people in the region as a de facto blockade. This perception only fuels the tension further. On the Venezuelan side, the situation is equally intense. Supporters of Maduro openly describe what is happening as an imperialist attack. Neighboring countries and regional actors are watching developments with growing concern. The presence of armed and paramilitary groups in the region is making an already fragile security environment even more unpredictable. This increases the sense of risk not only within Venezuela, but across the entire region. And at this point, a critical question emerges. Is this truly just a harsh political confrontation between two countries? Or is the world stepping into a broader era of conflict shaped by energy, control, and geopolitical pressure? In the next section, we will take a deeper look at the energy and economic dimensions of this tension. Because what is unfolding here goes beyond military movements on the ground. It represents another front in the global struggle for power. Wars dominate the headlines, but the area where the world is truly struggling often advances unnoticed. Water. Today, water scarcity is no longer just a problem of arid regions or poor countries. This crisis now extends even to the world's most developed nations. And the most dangerous part is this: it is growing quietly. Rivers are drying up, groundwater reserves are rapidly declining. Climate change and population growth are making the situation even worse. But in recent years, another factor has intensified the problem even further: artificial intelligence and digital infrastructure. The massive data centers that power modern AI systems consume enormous amounts of water. These facilities use millions of liters of water every day to cool their servers, and many of them are located in regions that are already experiencing water stress. So, on one side, people struggle to access clean water, while on the other, water is rapidly consumed to keep digital systems running. This is no longer just a technological issue. It is a matter of how resources are shared. Water is directly connected to energy, food, and the economy. When water runs out, agriculture comes to a halt. When agriculture stops, food crises emerge, and food crises fuel social unrest. Throughout history, many major upheavals have begun at this very point. People did not move for ideas, they moved to survive. Today, the world is facing both wars and a water crisis at the same time, and these two issues are not separate from one another. In the future, many tensions will not be shaped around land or ideology, but directly around water resources. Because when water runs out, diplomacy has already been left behind. Developments between Russia and Ukraine. The events between Russia and Ukraine are no longer perceived as just a local war. This conflict has become one of the clearest examples showing the direction in which the world is heading. On one side, Russia is trying to protect its security and sphere of influence. On the other, Ukraine is seeking closer ties with the West. However, the situation makes it clear that this war is not limited to just two countries. As a result of the conflict, energy prices have fluctuated across the globe. Food supply chains have also been negatively affected. In particular, the wheat and grain crisis has placed many countries under strain. Europe has been forced to reassess its energy security. So, while weapons are being used on the battlefield, major changes are taking place behind the scenes, in the economy, in energy markets, and in global balances. This war has shown us how a conflict can spread beyond a single country's borders. Today, a conflict in one region can have consequences across the entire world. The Russia-Ukraine war can be seen as a warning about how the new global era may take shape, a long, exhausting period in which everyone can be affected. When combined with other tensions around the world, this situation clearly indicates that the coming years are unlikely to be calm. The world is coming under pressure on multiple fronts. Wars, water scarcity, and power struggles are not separate issues. This may mark the beginning of a more challenging and uncertain era, and the years ahead are unlikely to be peaceful. For more content like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Global Raw.